Good afternoon, Canisius High School community. It is Andy Deyell, your Vice President for Institutional Advancement, back with another episode of Conversations with Canisius, our regular web series where we check in with our alums all over the U.S. and see what they've been up to since their time here at 1180 Delaware. I am joined today by a very special guest all the way from Philadelphia, Dr. Ron Parsons from the class of 1996. Ron, how are you?
I'm doing great, Andy. Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Ron, you have a ton of titles that I could probably butcher. So this will be a first in the history of Conversations with Canisius. I'm going to turn it over to you to just tell the audience a little bit about what you do at the University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. The titles aren't anything to write home about. I am a transplant surgeon at the University of Pennsylvania. Uh, it's sometimes shortened as just Penn Medicine. I'm currently the kidney and pancreas transplant surgical director at the hospital, University of Pennsylvania. I work with seven other surgeons to provide kidney and pancreas transplantation services here. We operate on donors, recipients. We operate on adult patients, pediatric patients, and our primary mission is to make sure we get patients on with their life and done with some of the consequences of end-stage kidney disease and diabetes, which can really impact patient morbidity and mortality.
Great. Great. And before you were any of that, though, you were a student at St. Mark's back in North Buffalo back in 1992, and you're looking to decide where you're going to go to high school. Ron, what made you decide on Canisius?
Well, that's easy. Paulie Smaldone, Justin Leas, and some of my, Rick Gansey, all of these guys went to St. Mark's and, really had good friendships with them back in the day. And, Canisius was sort of a really almost I guess the word is mysterious place when I was an eighth grader, seventh grader. It was where all of the really athletic and academic minded people in the community went for high school, and I really revered it even before I went there, and because that was the spot where my friends were going. I really wanted to be a part of that community. And so I did shadow at St. Joe's. It was technically, I guess, a little bit closer to my house, but, after being at Canisius and getting to meet the folks there, it was a real natural fit for me to go to Canisius.
Great. And you mentioned Coach Paul Smaldone, who's a longtime baseball coach at Canisius High School, and I know you're a big baseball guy. So aside from baseball, who are some of you, and Coach Smaldone, who are some of your other influences at Canisius High School, and what were some of the other activities you participated in?
So just to, I guess, parse that out. Now, Paulie Smaldone was my classmate. Coach Smaldone, was one of my coaches when I was in middle school, and both of those people have had a big impact on me. Coach Smaldone would work out with us. We'd go over to various parks and do a lot of fielding work, batting practice work, and anyway. So yeah, Coach Smaldone definitely had a big impact in me during those years. In terms of the question of who else had impact on me at Canisius? Is that what the
Yeah,
question was?
yeah. Who else were some of your influences?
Yeah, so huge long list, and I'm not going to be able to remember everyone. Coach Tenney was a real important person to me. Father Zanoni, Father C. Just really important people during my time at Canisius. I think some of the values that I uh, was impressed upon or just kind of regularly reminded of during my time at Canisius kind of stuck with me, for ever since I've left. So, being a man for others and just being a steward of, uh, care for other people, I think is something that was important at Canisius and has always remained important for me.
I mean, clearly, right through your career. So you graduate in '96. You head up to, is it Williams College up in New England? Is that where you went from there?
Yeah. So Williams is another thing that kind of got imprinted onto my development early on. Justin Leas, who's also a '96 grad, his grandfather had gone to Williams, and I sort of heard about it in the neighborhood and kind of also had this mystique about it that I was interested in it. And, Williams is a sort of a small D3 school in Massachusetts, academic minded and but also very much focused on excellence in academics. And I got the opportunity to play baseball there for about a year and a half, and really enjoyed my time at Williams and met a number of really, really bright people. And my interest in medicine kind of started at Canisius, and at Williams, it sort of obviously, developed more, and I really had to work at my performance and the standardized testing and everything to get my way through, and ended up having to take the MCAT twice to really get my scores up to where I wanted to. And I did have a year of time where I worked in Boston, actually, in a lab after my time at Williams, to have completed the MCAT again during my senior year at Williams, and then concentrated um, during that year after college to find a spot in medical school, and was able to come back to Buffalo and do medical school at SUNY Buffalo. So it was, Williams is a terrific place, but getting a job in a lab in Boston was a result of my time at Williams, and that was, really a formative year for me to help me get ready to go into medical school.
Wow. And did you enter UB sort of knowing what kind of medicine you wanted to practice, or was that like how did you shift to surgery and internal medicine?
Right. So, um, yeah, so I decided going into medical school that I really didn't have too much of an idea what I wanted to do. I, sort of had an open mind and had liked pediatrics, but also really wanted to look at other fields. As I spent a little bit more time in medicine, surgery was something that kind of was an easy interest right away. There was, the opportunity to impact on the well-being of patients and cause immediate change in the discomfort or struggle they're having medically was really gratifying. And getting a chance to see those patients have an immediate and kind of rapid improvement was something that I found really cool. And you know the surgeons that I kind of met during my time in Buffalo were really formative, and had a great impact on my decision to decide to go into surgery. Um, and were very helpful in terms of letter writing and kind of the application process for residency. Um, One of the real formative things that happened during medical school for me was, it was interesting. And I don't know if we talked about this previously, but I had a chance to, I guess, a couple things. Move back into an apartment in Buffalo that my parents had owned, and had a chance to be roommates again with two of my Canisius classmates, Jared Hasslinger and Jim Lilly. And and I also had a chance to meet my now wife during my first year of medical school. Kim is from Long Island, and we kind of met during orientation and had some courtship there, and then got engaged during our third year of medical school, and then did a couples match for residency. But um, getting a chance to move back to Buffalo and live with friends from Canisius was really one of my highlights in some sort of my formative years, getting to see people who are studying law, working in business, doing banking, and doing other stuff that was kind of totally outside of the realm of medicine, and was a good chance to relive the old memories and the old fun of Canisius.
So Buffalo, very eventful for you. You know, you meet your wife, you complete medical school, and you guys, you said you couples matched. So this is actually your second tour of duty at UPenn. I think, isn't that where you matched out of
Yeah,
medical
so
school?
yes, exactly. So um, during medical school, we Kim and I couples matched in Philadelphia. She started her pediatrics residency at the Children's Hospital Philadelphia, and I matched in general surgery here at Penn. And that was super formative process. Spent 7 years here at the Hospital University of Pennsylvania as a general surgery resident. I was in a immunobiology lab for 2 years with Ali Naji and Human Norchasm, and worked really closely with Bob Redfield and other people, prominent scientists within the university, and had a nice chance to do basic science research for 2 years. And then during all that time, we had a lot of formative stuff happening with the family. We had 3 kids doing residency, and girl, boy, girl, and they're rapidly growing up. And so after residency, our family decided to move to New York, and I had decided on transplant surgery during residency. Um, Kim had also decided on neonatology. So we did a fellowship at Columbia, and spent 2 years working at Columbia doing transplant surgery. My At that point, when fellowship was finished, I got a job down in Atlanta at Emory University Hospital and Emory Clinic, and the Emory Transplant Center, as a transplant surgeon in kidney pancreas transplantation, and really had a fantastic time in Atlanta. Kim, her fellowship was 3 years, so she actually I did this weird thing where I was traveling back and forth from Buffalo, from Atlanta to New York, and and then they finally moved down in July of 2015. So then we were living in Atlanta from 2015 until the summer of last year. And then last year I got the opportunity to interview for the current position I have here at Penn, and was lucky enough to get selected for this position. We moved our family in August, and have been here since August of last year. And Kim got a job at the Children's Hospital Philadelphia, primarily at the King of Prussia location. And so she's been doing her neonatology work, and I've been doing transplant surgery since then. And the kids are getting all old, 17, 15, and 12. And and we're just trying to keep pace with everything now.
When you think back on your time at Canisius, what were some of the things that you learned there that you took with you into your professional life now that you've been out and working for, all these number of years?
Pursue excellence. Nothing else is worth your time. That was Dr. Ciancimino's doctor. He'd like to be a doctor. Father Ciancimino's phrase during a lot of our meetings, and Canisius is about the passion of life for helping others, and the Jesuit kind of focus on academic excellence is and really moral excellence is something that I think I've always held with in my in my travels. So I've always revered the Canisius mentality of men for others, and uh, you know the idea of pursuing excellence and nothing else being more important, I think, is always something that I've held critical in my life.
It's such an important phrase in for alumni like you and me. And when you walk into the school to this day, when you walk down the Beecher classroom wing, there's a huge sign hanging from the ceiling that says those exact words. And you'd be happy to know that. And it's the first thing kids see on their way into school every day, and the last thing they see on their way out the door. And it sticks with you clearly, right? So if you were to give some advice, Ron, to some of our young alums who might be considering a career in medicine, or just a general advice about how to conduct yourself as an adult or as a family man, what was some advice that you would give to young people today as they are about to make their way sort of into the world?
So for me, I think balance is critical. I have all these work titles and work responsibilities, but I think family um, is critical and is the seat of stability for everything that I do. So I try to maintain as much balance as I can. Um, During kind of development and growth in your early years, it's important to have great friends and a great support. And I think Canisius for me has always provided that because I have some close friends that I still connect with. And so um, staying close with those alumni, I think, is critical. I try to have some regular correspondence with my buddies from the class of '96, and so we still do that today. We have a nice group chat, and but I guess the main advice I would say is don't get frustrated. Life definitely throws you curveballs, and it can be really painful to get through certain aspects of development. And if you're interested in pursuing something in a professional setting, whether it's law or medicine or engineering or what have you, I think all of these fields have sort of their inherent obstacles, which require some patience and some willingness to fail in order to get to success. And so, uh, maintaining a positive outlook and leaning on your support as much as possible, I think, is really critical.
That's great advice. Yeah, I always find that as I look back on my life, and of course we have the gift of years of that some of these young kids won't, but um, some of the times the greatest disappointments in your life end up being the most important things that ever happened to you. And if you give things time to breathe, yeah, you realize it's all part of a process. And we hear it all the time from our football coaches and everybody else, trust the process. And it really is good advice for young people to just realize that in the moment, those obstacles and those hurts often become the things that drive you and form you the most as you become as you become an adult. So it's really good advice, Ron. Thank you so much for spending a few moments of your time and telling us a little bit about your career and the things you learned at Canisius. We hope you see you around campus. I know you're closer in Atlanta, you're getting closer back to Buffalo. So at least Philadelphia is a few less hours away. So we'd love to have you on campus at some point and stop by school and get a tour and see all the things that are going on here. But good luck in your really important work. And thank you for joining us and spending a few moments of your time with us today.
My pleasure, Andy. Anytime, and I really love to see how Canisius is thriving and becoming an even better place than when I was there. So, congratulations to everybody, the administration, and to you and the whole alumni on a really fantastic institution.
Thanks, Ron. We'll talk soon.